What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Now, today we are going to talk about this incoming banner that absolutely no one is hyped for. But let's have an honest. I know most of us are done with banners. Like, we want a break. There is no question about that. But just for the sake of argument, let's sit down, let's have a legitimate discussion about this. Aside from the fact that we're all done spending, our free-to-play iris on, like, every single banner that comes up, let's realistically talk about this, talk about their uses, see how reasonable it is to summon on this, and I have a thing here at the end that maybe could save you every last free-to-play iris you would have blown on this banner. Let's get into it, okay? First things first, standard banner. First, 4th, 7th, and 10th draws are guaranteed. So, at absolute worst, if you just want Gross for the CP, I would just do, like, one and done. I said that yesterday. Go in here, drop 400, and then get Gross. But there's a caveat to that. First, let's talk about the units, then we'll talk about that caveat. I know it's horribly unfair, but it is what it is. That's how I'm going to roll today. Gross. Voice crack. HP is 3957. That is basically 4,000, so he's really good. MP 261, meh. Physical attack 2071. There's an interesting thing about that we'll get to in a moment. Defense is 830. Now, that's pretty wild. Now, Dex is also 820, so he's going to get a lot of, criticals and penetration, things like that. So, it is what it is. Actually, I think that affects counter, too, so he's gonna get some good stats here. Though agility is not really the craziest thing. 844, he's not gonna be a speedy unit. He's literally just a tank. Like, he is a tank, and that is his one thing that he does. In fact, skill 1 for him is a 64 MP cost. It's foes plural, fast, 65% taunt, and self, guard rate and counter rate and physical resist plus 60%. I said he works on the stall team. He also works on an ailment team because of that taunt. I completely forgot about the taunt factor in that. So if you're looking to, like, basically spam ailments, this dude's going to be awesome for the ailment team. He's going to be awesome for the stall team. If you don't have another taunt ailment unit, you definitely need this guy. I believe he's a power creep. I think Otarl's the last one we got, and I believe he's a power creep for even Otarl, at least as far as his taunt goes. Also, as far as his physical resistance goes, he's pretty nutty. So self, guard rate, counter rate, and physical resistance plus 60% for 4 turns. Add 4 additional actions, foes, plural, low earth physical attack with high critical rate. Now, normally I would wait until we do skill 2 and skill 3 to talk about the passives, but let's talk about the passives real quick. 35% thunder resistance counters or earth physical attack with 50% HP steal. So, he's going to take your health when he counters. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. 35% strength, endurance, and dex. So in other words, he's just going to be a crazy good tank. A 35% endurance stat. I want you to pay attention to this here. Okay? Guard rate plus 60%. Counter rate plus 60%. Physical resist plus 60%. 35% endurance stat is nutty. Absolutely nutty. And he's got 35% damage resistance on guard. So, if he guards, he's going to reduce that. And 30% physical resistance. This dude basically has 90% physical resistance. Those of you that were griping that the more recent Otaro we got has not taken any damage in Wargame, this dude won't either. Now, the difference between them. Skill 2, foes plural super earth physical attack with ultra run guard rate, skill damage plus 30% per self guard rate, physical resistance buff, and 20% HP steal. Now remember, that's 20% HP steal on top of the counter that he's going to get when he's got a high counter rate as it is. So he's just the dude's never gonna die. Like, he's never gonna die. The 30% self guard rate and physical, or 30% skill damage per guard rate and physical resistance buff. Nowhere in here has he buffed his physical attack. Has he buffed his earth element attack? Nowhere. So that is not a damage skill. It's more of a stall tactic to try to get out, some counters and whatnot. And, trying to mess with the other team. Skill 2 is just not going to do a huge amount of damage because he doesn't have any strength buff. He doesn't have any earth damage buff. He's really got nothing there. He's going to have to be put on a team. If you want him to produce damage, he's going to have to be put on a team with somebody that's going to buff those. Even 30 to 40% earth damage and strength would be nice. Like, that would help him out drastically. But he's still not going to be like a huge damage producer. That's the one downside to this is most of the teams, in fact, 90% of the teams that he would reasonably work on, I'm looking at, Stalled and I'm looking at Alien, really, you're not going to have anybody that's going to do that on those teams. So, I guess if you do an assist with earth attack damage, you're going to get some, but it's not going to be crazy. Like, that hit is not going to be, like, very good at all. It's really just more of a stopgap. Really, just honestly, truly. Skill 3 I love, but big caveat to this. Foe singular high earth physical attack with high penetration rate, skill damage plus 150% if target has taunt and 50% HP steal. Here's why I love this, and here's why I hate this. That is a crazy good attack. And if you basically set him to single target, the biggest problem is if you set him to single target, he's never going to do his other skill. But if you set him to single target and you have another taunter on your team, as soon as that unit is taunted, he comes in and he's going to murder every single person on the team one by one. So if you have another taunter and you can have him do that skill, he's going to come out of the gate and be like, cool, you're taunted? Dead. You're taunted? Dead. You're taunted? Dead. He basically becomes a stopgap measure. There is, and I had to really think about a way to use this. Downside of that, you're never, ever, 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 ever going to do that. You'd basically have to have Gareth or Otarl or another like Earth unit like that, and you'd have to have him buffed up pretty good, and you'd have to do all this other stuff, and you'd have to basically accept the fact that you're going to drag this fight out to like turn 6, because he's going to be your end-all be-all. He's going to take down those units one by one, and he's got to mow through all 6 people one at a time. It's not a very viable tactic. It's going to be an annoying tactic, and if you're in Familia Wargame, it's a great way to ensure that your opponent doesn't get the turn 4 kill. Because if you have all these taunt units and all these tanks, and they're just sitting there like, what's up? Somebody that comes up against that team is just going to, like, bang their head against the wall for 6 turns, and even if they win, they're just not going to get maximum points. That is the only one situation I could reasonably see that third skill being used, and I really had to stretch to get to that. I like it, I love it, but here's the problem: you're never going to use that outside of Wargame. Nothing on this dude has any functional use outside of Wargame, and here's where I'm going to kind of go on a rant for a moment. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but he's amazing, oh, but he's awesome, oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Guys, we should be addressing these units based on utility. When I summon for a unit, if I'm spending real, honest-to-goodness money, even not just free-to-play hours, if I'm like wailing out for a unit, I want that unit to have a lot of utility. I went ham for the water team because I could see the water team coming a mile away. That team is good in every aspect of this game. They could basically set a top 500 score every single time in Record Buster. They could set amazing scores. They're really good for Wargame. They're really good for Record Buster. Really good. We S-cleared all the EX missions with them. Teams like that have an insane amount of utility. And so when you're spending real, honest, physical money for a team like that, it's 100% worthwhile. You're getting the functionality out of that team. With a unit like this, if I even spend free-to-play Iris on him, I at least would like to be able to use him in the EX missions, in 7th Zone or something like that. This dude was going to be completely useless outside of Wargame. You're never going to use him outside of Wargame. And for that reason, I feel like as a stopgap measure, great. If you're building one of those 2 very specific teams, great. Beyond that, I just don't see it. And for me, I think it's a hard pass, personally. I just expect more utility, more functionality out of the units that I'm going to go crazy for. That's my opinion. If you differentiate, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear another good reason to summon for Gross. But to be honest with you, I don't see it. I don't see the functionality. I don't see the tactility, and I simply just don't see the usability in him. That said, essay. We didn't talk about his essays. A foes, plural, Alter Earth physical attack with Alter on guard rate. Temporary great strength boost. Remove strength and magic buffs and allies. 100% guard rate. So once again, he turns if he's able to get off his SA, he turns everybody into a tank. I love this unit for what he is. I could see a lot of use for him. I don't have the team to support him. I've never, once again, I'm a more form over function, or I'm more function over form type of guy. And for that reason, I just don't, I don't have enough faith to put free-to-play Iris into him. I just don't. Let's talk about winning, okay? This unit's going to give you cavities. This unit absolutely is going to... I hate that this is so small. I wish I could just, There we go. Now we can see it. 958 HP. MP is 189. Remember, we talked about last week about units that either have a crazy amount of HP, crazy amount of physical attack, crazy amount of magic attack, or crazy amount of agility. She's respectable in 3 of those things, but not out of this world. Now, her physical attack, phenomenal. 623 is a really good, high, insane physical attack. But HP, not quite 1,000, isn't terrible. She's a good unit all around. 438 is a good agility stat, but not insane all the way around. She's all about the physical attack, though. And that really is where she resides. So if you're summoning on this unit, you want to make sure you can use her on a physical team. And appropriately, skill-wise, at maximum break, I will say she does strength plus 25%, physical and magic resistance, and light resistance, and dark attack damage, all up 20%. I could really use that dark attack damage 20%. I really honestly could. Light resistance 20% is interesting. I'm sorry, it's not. I'm sorry. I was wrong. It's not light resistance, it's light attack damage and dark attack damage. I actually don't think I need that for light, but the fact that she does 25% strength on top of that is really nice. The physical and magic resistance down 20% is really nice. The last unit we had that did physical and magic resistance down 20%, I did not spec into. So I really kind of feel like I'm going to spec into this unit. I think I'm going to go after Winnie, but not on this banner. Let me explain. Every single month, I get a ticket for doing the full course, and most months we get the brand new units on that ticket. So, I mean, to be fair, it is a gacha. It's a one time. You're guaranteed one of the... It's basically a Celestial Festival ticket. You could pick 2 adventures and 1 assist. She's going to be my assist until she's maximum broken. 100%. I need to have this unit. Here's the deal. I don't have enough free-to-play Iris to dump into this right now when we probably have some more really crazy things coming down the pike. I like the Dark Team. My Light Team is garbage these days, but I mean, in comparison to like how they could be. Yeah, there's minor exception to that, but let's face it, the Light Team has not gotten a lot of love lately. Maybe this is the start of something amazing. My Light Team's mostly magic, though, so having a physical on there is really just not doing me any good. For Dark, it would be great, and I do need Dark assists, so I am going to spec into her, but I'm going to spec into her at the beginning of the month. I'm going to spec into her with Prism Bonds. I'm going to spec into her with all that kind of stuff. If I get her on this banner, great, but I'm not going to lose sleep like chasing a unit on a banner that, frankly, is kind of hit or miss. Now, here's the big caveat. Let me get over to this because I think this changes everything. We are getting a free 11 draw ticket once we complete the new story. So if you complete the new story, you get a free ticket. Now, it is not 4-star guaranteed. It's only 3-star, but if you get lucky, you probably get one of Gross, and you could walk away with all your CP rewards and farm those bad boys up. With me, I would actually like a Cross and a Winnie because I'm greedy. But it would start my collection for her. I could keep, it'd be, February when we get the new ticket, I could go after another bond of her. I've got a few Prism Bonds I could throw into her. This would be a perfect situation for me. So for me, tonight on stream, we're going to be trying to beat the story event and do our ticket. Now, we will be doing Freya Chronicle tonight on stream. We'll absolutely be doing that. We have not done part 2 of Freya Chronicle, so we will be doing some of that. But I want to try to beat this and get that ticket too. So, yeah, we'll do that first, and then we'll do Freya Chronicles. So if you get to join us tonight for the live stream, I'm going to start tonight at 9 p.m. sharp. We're going to run for about 2.5, maybe a little longer hours. So be there on time. We're going to bash through this as quickly as we can and get to the Freya Chronicle story. So I'll see you guys tonight Like, comment, share. Let me know your thoughts on the banner beyond. I know too many banners. I get it. I understand it. I'm with you. But let me know honestly what you think about these units. What do you honestly, if you had an unlimited amount of Iris, would you summon for them? That's really the question. Ask yourself that. Beyond just, I know we get a new banner every week and it's annoying. I'm with you. I get it, and nothing I can do about that. All I can do is bring you the news. Catch you guys tonight for the live stream.